Okay, so here we go, Cars. Yeah, everybody liked this movie when it came out, and I'll just be honest, I don't get it. This seemed like the biggest step backwards you could take for a studio that was doing so well. Why? Because the last film they did finally starred human characters. You would think that this would open up the door for so many more stories, so many more opportunities, but no, now it's Cars. Oh, okay, what was it? Cars that come to life and people get inside them? No, it's just a world where everything's a car. What? Well, okay, maybe this just opens it up for a lot of creative jokes because, as we all know, everybody really knows a lot about cars. Actually, hell, even if you do know a lot about cars, are there really that many car jokes in this? Okay, let's go to the beginning. You got a race car played by Owen Wilson. He's a big celebrity hotshot, constantly winning all the races in the stadiums filled with cars. God, this is weird. Okay, while he's being transported to his next big race, he accidentally gets lost and gets stuck in a town that he accidentally destroys a good portion of. The court decides that the best way for him to pay for his crime is for him to fix up what he did. Of course, being the egotistical hotshot, he just wants to get to his race, but the town won't let him leave until he accounts for his actions. So while taking responsibility, he comes across a couple colorful characters. A pickup truck played by Larry the Cable Guy, a hippie van played by the late George Carlin, and a romantic interest played by Bonnie Hunt. Gee, will he discover that hard work and responsibility is really what's important? Will he discover that there's actually some charm to the small town locations? Will he look at things in a different point of view that'll make him more humble and a nicer guy in the end? Does that engine light mean something's wrong with your vehicle? I don't know, because I don't care about cars! And I don't know a lot of people that really do either. I mean, sure, there's people obsessed with cars and they like to make them look good, but making them the focus of a movie? This is really weird. But even taking that out of it, this story has been done to death and it doesn't seem like they're really adding anything new outside of just making people cars. I think I laughed at one joke in this entire movie, and that's where there's a lineup in the female bathroom. Okay, that got a laugh out of me, but aside from that, nothing. I didn't crack a smile once. It was boring, it was tedious, it was long, it didn't look that great. It's a dumb concept, it's boring characters. Okay, I know a lot of people like this film. I know it sold a lot of toys, and I guess it makes sense. Hot Wheels and stuff sell really well. Now actually put eyes and a smile on that Hot Wheel and bada bing, you probably have a good seller. But as a story and character goes, this didn't do a thing for me. In my opinion, this was the first really big Pixar disappointment. But a lot of people seem to go see it and enjoy it. I don't know too many people who see it as their favorite, but they seem to like it okay. And I guess as always, there's nothing really bad in it for kids, and to its credit, the ending actually is a very nice, heartwarming ending. But I still don't know why this movie was made. Why was this considered a good concept? Why did people think it was creative? Why did people enjoy the characters and the story that they've seen a bajillion times that didn't really add anything that new to it? I don't know, and maybe I'll never know. But it was still a big hit. Both audiences and critics seem to enjoy it. So I'll just shut up and let you enjoy what you enjoy. But for me, all I'm thinking in my mind is, come back, Brad Bird, come back! Ratatouille, the second Pixar film directed by Brad Bird. And funny enough, the second film to mostly star a human cast, even though the main character himself is not human. Our hero is a little rat played by Patton Oswalt. He has an extreme fascination with the human culture, especially their food. Well, maybe not fascination, more like an obsession. He loves human food, he loves to learn how to cook, he loves to make great art out of special ingredients. But the rest of his family and his clan tell him to stay away from humans and shut up and eat his garbage. Eventually the rat gets separated from his family and actually comes across one of his favorite restaurants. Sad news is that the chef of that restaurant recently passed away and now it's being taken under control by a chef who isn't really that good. and on top of that is very power hungry. So our hero feels he can at least go in and help out with some of the dishes, but ultimately gets caught. He's captured by a janitor named Linguini, who everybody now thinks is the one who conjured up the dishes, which everybody seems to like. Linguini puts together very quickly that it was the rat who doctored it up, and eventually they form a partnership. The rat finds a pretty funny way of controlling Linguini by pulling his hair and somehow controlling his arms. Much like a puppet show, the rat has total power over the chef, and makes it appear like he's the one that's cooking all these incredible dishes. From there, gosh, a ton of stuff happens. There's a conspiracy about who really owns the restaurant, there's a chef that gets fired, there's a critic who wants to come and destroy the restaurant by giving it a bad review, there's the reuniting the rat with his family, there's a moral about stealing, there's a romance, a bunch of colorful characters that are trying to be squeezed in on the side. It's a ton. Much like The Incredibles, I really wish some parts got more focused than others. Like, I love these chefs, and I like how they all have these very unique backstories, but they're really rushed. I wanted more of them, I wanted to have more interaction, but it's all sort of pushed aside for Linguini, who, honestly, I don't think is that very interesting a character. He's just sort of your everyday doofus. Nothing really makes him stand out from any other doofus in movies. There's a chef played pretty well by Janine Garofalo who's pretty entertaining. The critic is one of the best designs I've ever seen in an animated movie. Though, is it me, or is he just that guy from the Sleepy Hollow cartoon? Well, either way, he looks awesome. The dead chef who used to own the restaurant comes back as a figment of the rat's imagination, and I think that's a freaking great idea. I think they should have done that in Hunchback with the gargoyles. It's funny, it's clever, it's touching, and it's actually sort of an interesting dive into the rat's psyche. I thought that gave a very unique touch. But again, these are the elements I sort of wish got more focus. A lot of it is still focusing on the villain chef, who again is just sort of a boring villain chef. The rat family, which again is just sort of a boring rat family. And the relationship between the rat and Linguini, which is okay, but I think could have been a lot stronger. The movie's saving grace, though, is its atmosphere. Every shot just looks like something out of a beautiful painting. Look at those warm colors, look at the contrast against the purple skies. Look at France, oh god, look at France! And once again, the designs of the human characters are very Brad Bird. They look like they were drawn first and then put into a computer, which gives a lot more personality. Speaking of personality, I will not dare give away the ending of this film. To me, it is one of the most perfect endings that can ever be given to a movie. It's funny, it's heartwarming, it's clever. The words being said are actually pretty thought-provoking, not just for critics, but for people in general wanting to judge something. And it gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling that only something as good as Disney can give you. I think this mixed with the atmosphere is what makes the film especially strong. Does it have troubles, like I said before? Yeah, and I think they are some serious flaws. But oh man, the stuff that's good, I can't even say how good it is. There's some of my favorite scenes, and I can listen to that last dialogue from the critic over and over again. It's one of my favorite moments in all cinema. So, despite its troubles, Ratatouille is a delicious delight that I'm sure to return to many times in the future.
Che bontà! Buona ma non eccelsa, vado a prendere il veleno per topi.